Welcome to Staioneers, everyone. This is Shadow Drake, and yeah, this looks familiar, I hope, from a previous video. Ignore my mess, please. I went overboard. The topic for this one, well, the build for this one is actually going to be a refilling system for our printers. Now, last time, recall that I showed that you can, at least with this system, that you can queue it up, and it'll show you if there's anything missing. Well, now instead of loading in manually our ingots, I made it so that when the printers are missing an item on the queue, for example, we're going to just queue one cable from the electronic printer and send it. See that the electronic printer is obviously missing cables. And if you can see in the background, something happened with my vending machines. And eventually, there we go. Got my ingredients. And since I told it to automatically exit, it's going to automatically put the ingots and alloys where they're supposed to be, and you see my cable came back. And hopefully you saw that the printers did something in the background over there. So, I mean, just for a quick demonstration again, let's actually do heavy cables. So, one heavy cables, please, from the electronic printer. Heavy cable is missing gold. You see the vending machine more than likely put out the gold. It's coming in on its way to the printer. Looks like it came in. Now it's missing copper. Alright. Should have sent the copper. It's going to come in. And there it goes. It's going to print out my one heavy cable. Now it's going to export those back. And what you're going to see is the heavy cable is going to come out from the chute. And the vending machine back there is going to fill up with the ingots. There you go. So that's basically the very quick and dirty demonstration, and it works with all types of alloys and ingots. So this build video is going to be a demo how to set up and basically have that part of the system link up with my printer so that you can queue jobs and they will do exactly what you tell them to, but they'll also manually refill themselves, assuming that you have the available resources. So let's get to this. So my logistics system is actually fairly straightforward. It's essentially two vending machines. How I have it set up is two vending machines, partially because there's quite a lot of ingots that you can have, copper, gold, silicon, iron, and you probably may want to fill them to a certain degree because those are extremely common materials that get used up. And then you have a lot of alloys, steel, electrum solder, constant and invar, as well as your super alloys that are not very oftenly used, but you may still want to get some spares and extras in there. So, in short, what this system consists of is we have four logic sorters, or basically a logic sorter per printer. So we have a logic sorter for the lathe, logic sorter for the electronics printer, logic sorter for the pipe bender, logic sorters for the rocket manufactory, which that's a long path, mind you. And that's all that you need for the refilling system, plus the two vending machines. And I have a vending machine for alloys and a vending machine for ingots. And yes, if you want to have just a single vending machine, I'll show you what alterations you need to make to the code so that you only have to worry about you don't have to worry about too much about what to change. The code I try to make it fairly modular so that it can have exactly what you need and you can adjust it easily depending on your build process. Because one of the things to note is for a logic sorter, the input is on the left side of the logic sorter. The left output is the one for unsorted materials, or basically materials you don't want to go that you're not specifically looking for. That's typically how it goes. And the right side is for items that you specifically want to out on your sorter. And so in my build video, we have the logic sorter for the printers. The left is going towards the sorting system, or basically just keep going through the system. And the right is, hey, take this item out for here. In short, when the printer requests for an item, the chip is gonna program into the sorter exactly one instance of this item is needed, as well as tell the vending machine to fire. Now, I did put an internal delay that in the off chance you ran out of that material, um, and you finally load the vending machine either through your own through the chute system or some other way, it will keep polling the vending machines. I would say roughly every minute to see if the item is there, and if it is, the vending machine will throw it out. If it's not, then it's just gonna keep waiting, at least until the printer's queue is cleared. Now, that whole system works for the stack commands, but since I am tying this system to the memory chips, I'll show them to the memory chips behind the printers for my previous system, you're not really gonna need extra materials. This can work without stack commands for the printers, but you would need some other method of writing what ingot is missing to the memory chip. So let's get started. Now I do have an output system that tells where the ingots and alloys go, as well as the output to stacker, but I will cover that later because it's probably going to be the most optional part of the system potentially for you. So pinouts. This one is fairly simple. D0. Let me put the screwdriver away. D0 would be the vending machine for ingots, and D1 will be the vending machine for alloys. D2 would be D2 through 5 are empty, so really all we need is the vending machines. Now, if you're going to have a single vending machine, you don't have to do anything extra in your code. All you do is use the same vending machine for D0 and D1, and that will be fine. So let's take a look at the code. The code will require a little bit of input from you, but I will go over that quickly. So, whoops, didn't realize that it was like that already. So when you get your chip and housing built, you don't really need to name the housing or anything like that. So from the workshop, grab the printer refiller. That's the code that you need. And what you're gonna see is the printer refiller. It's not a you really don't have to mess with anything. Feel free to check on some stuff if you want. There's only really three things you kind of need to do. So, actually, no. Sorry, my mistake. There's only one thing you need to do for this code, and that is the sorter's directions. See, right now I have it as a 1, which means that when the ingots and alloys go in through the input, they will go to the right output, and it's going to change all my sorters. It's going to change all the sorters to that. If for some reason you have a system that kind of mixes and matches them, I would recommend on line 17 to 20, you write the mode a 1 or a 2 just flat out. All my sorters are in line. I highly recommend you put them in line. That way, all you need to do is adjust this number to a 1 or a 2. So, if you put it at a 1, sorted items will go out the right side. So from the input, that's a 1 right there. All of them will go out 1 to the right. If you put a 2, they will come out the left side. This matters because if you have your logic sorter system the opposite direction, so that hold on, let me grab one. This one's right here. If for some reason you built your system to be the opposite way around, like this, after you do your naming, you will see that you will want to have, for the printers coming out on the left side, and the right side will be continued through whatever your vending machine reroute system would go. So for that case, it would be a 2. The way that I have it built, however, just needs a 1. So let's go with that. And now, as far as names go, you do need to make sure that the names for the memory chip and your logic sorters are correct. So now, if you did build the memory chip system for the previous build video for the Q system, you should be fine already. But if you rename them, then they need to either be renamed here in the logic, most likely need to be renamed here in the logic for 26, 30, 34, and 38. Those are the memory chips. And then, of course, the name for the sorters are going to be the lines directly after. So those are the only things you need to be concerned about. When you set your direction, verify the names are right for the memory chips and the printers, for all of them, then you are free to just confirm it, export it, done. System set up. You don't have to worry about it. So now if a printer is needing something, it will queue the vending machines for what it needs, and it'll directly feed them. All right. Now, as far as the output and the separation system, I do have two logic sorters here. And every one of my printers has a stacker. Now, the stackers will throw their items into the chute system as part of, as you can see, part of my ingot delivery system. And that's just for me to save space. If you're going to have it in a separate system, that's fine. You know, you can come up with the logistics for that. But for this system, if you want to kind of copy it and use it, I have all my stackers and basically the outputs from the printers get routed into this system. They'll go through the first logic sorter, where I call it sorter ingots. Basically, it's going to force ingots to go towards the vending machine and manufacture items to go out to a different chute system. And as you can tell, this one I have it coming out, the desired items I want to go out on the left. And as far as the sorter alloys logic sorter goes, the left side is for the ingots and the right side is for the alloys. I mean, you could change the direction, or if you're only going to have a single vending machine, you won't even need this sorter. And I'll show you how to make the adjustments to the code for that. Now, I technically have a housing because it's managing my stackers. If you're not even going to have stackers to manage, then the code that I put in the workshop has pretty much that logic completely commented out. You just gotta finish commenting out a few items. Yeah, you just gotta finish commenting out a few items. But, you know, same thing. You do your housing. Grab the printer, stacker, and output sorter. I'm trying to get better at my names, I promise you. So all of that will be commented out. The stackers will be commented out, and the logic down here will be commented out. So now comes the alloy and the ingot. Now, S alloy is for this logic sorter right here. Oh, and really all it is to separate ingots from alloys and superalloys. And that is if you're having a two vending machine system. If you're not going to have a two vending machine system, all you need to do is comment out that line of code or delete it. I honestly recommend deleting it because when you delete it, you can scroll down and find out where else you have red lines, and then you can either delete those lines as well or comment them out. So, you know, comment them out or delete them. And that's how you can remove that line of logic from your code. That way you will know for sure what can be removed if you're not going to have the split system. Now, if you are going to keep it, that's fine. And then the sorter ingot will be this logic sorter which separates ingots and alloys from manufactured materials. And just like the other code, I have in lines 10 and 11 the directions for the sorting. So for example, my ingot sorter, which is that one right here, I want my items, my ingots to go to the left output, which is what's happening here. If an ingot comes in here, it goes out the left output. As far as my alloy sorter, I have it as a 1, which means I want all my alloys and super alloys to go out to the right. So yeah, 10 and 11 are the 2 lines you need to completely set up those logic sorters. All the logic for them is already pre-done and set up, so you don't really need to mess with that at all. But you may, feel free to look around at it just to get an idea for a working example for how it works. Now, if you're going to have the stackers, what you would need to do is uncomment out the lines that are commented out. So that will be the aliases for pins D2 to D5. And then if you scroll all the way down to the main, so basically lines 67 to 78, go on ahead and remove the pound sign from the beginning of all of the lines. Now, if there's something that you're not going to have, like for example, if you don't have a rocket printer stacker, you can leave that stuff commented out. Only uncomment out or enable logic for stackers that you're actually intending to use. And so once you do that, you can confirm it, you can export it. And I completely forgot pinouts. So how this is set up? The sorter that does the alloys from the ingots is D0. The sorter ingots, which basically separates ingots from manufacturer items, will be D1. And then from here on out, it's the stacker for the lathe on D2, stacker for the electronics printer on D3, stacker for the pipe bender on D4, and finally stacker for the rocket printer D5. Thank you. Once you are finally happy and set up, export it, stick it in, your system's ready. And that is all that you need to get this all set up. And you can verify things work right. So in my case, this gold ingot, no printer's calling for it, so it should go through the entire system and end up at this vending machine. And it does. That at least lets me know the system's working right. If I were to throw this logic sorter in there, it's going to pop out of that chute over there, which is kind of like my trash pile. And it does. So that at least lets you know that things are working right. Now, if I had a steel, actually, simple thing. I'll vend out that electron right there. It's going to go through the entire system. There it goes. And it should wind up right back in here, which it does. So, quick and dirty test, and there you have it. So that's basically the natural expansion, or an optional upgrade to my printer sorter system. Again, you don't need my previous build to make it work, so long as you are able to write to a memory chip and tell what ingot or alloy hash item is missing. My system should be able to pick it up and send it through. Alrighty guys, thank you for your time. I hope this build video helps, and have a good day.